all members, let's support if stop. Okay. We have other stakeholders waiting. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity to ask this question. And thank you, Nyoro, for coming up as a Kenyan to just give this presentation. And we have to make it clear that Nyoro is a friend or a colleague to all of us here. So that is why this presentation was very, very important. And Nyoro is not just a regular member of parliament. He was the chair of the. So he has so much information pertaining this particular. Nyoro started saying he wants to know how it was validated that the stock is at 34, not 29. He gave us so much information about the sale of the company. He gave us so much information about several other companies. My question to Ndindi, because the CEO of Safaricom sat right there where you are. The CS of Treasury sat right there where you are. They made a specific presentation like what you have done. We asked them questions, the same questions that we're asking you, and they gave us answers. They were very clear on how they went about valuation. Safaricom told us they cannot interfere when a seller and a buyer is present when it comes to stocks. If a buyer says, I want to buy this stock, and a seller says, I want to sell these stocks, Safaricom has no say in who exactly or to stop it. Now, you are telling us that we should have all Kenyans come together and agree on who is going to evaluate this sale before it's done. That is not the case. We are told Vodacom gave us a premium price for the future dividends of the country, or of the stock and all that. So, Mr. Ndindi, as a colleague, and who has so much information about the government of Kenya, and who has information about this fund that we are going to set up, infrastructure fund. Of course, the money will come probably at the moment. If it is concluded before it's formed, it will go to another fund. But I want to ask you, do you think that all Kenyans would have sat down and agreed on the price rate? You know very well that Kenyans, there is a way of evaluating the stock and agreeing on how to sell, and there is nothing that was wrong on this sale. There is nothing. If you have information that there is something wrong that was done, then be on record and tell this, because so many people are following. So many people are just listening on your presentation today. So just tell the people, this is your opportunity to actually tell the Kenyans something went wrong and this is what went wrong. But based on what we know, the CEO was there of Safaricom, the CS was there, and several stakeholders have come and just did their presentation the way you did. So my question to you is, do you really think there is a smoking gun in the country? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Mine would be brief and straight to the point. Thank you so much, our colleague. You really made a powerful presentation, which has really enriched me, and I believe it has enriched the committee. But I would just like to ask, Honorable, that you seem to say that you have no problem with privatization. Yes, and you have a problem with evaluation. And Honorable Kaluma has mentioned it, but I was just feeling like I really wish you would have given us what you think was best in terms of valuation, because you've talked of us having maybe more 150 billion, 100 billion. So I don't know, in your computation, because they have floated at 34 shillings, as per you, how much would it be? And you also put it so well that while you were in the corridors of power, there were some of these things which were floated. And in your view, if we'd have split into three, would have gotten more. So as at that time, are you able to give us the figures that as at that time, because you said there were even more, how much are you looking at? And what exactly happened as at that time? What hindered the sale as at that time that probably now is okay? So thank you. I think that is my main concern.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Manduku.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you,
The members kindly want to, if we can get straight to the question so that because of time,
Nyoro, for your insightful presentation. I think I'll be straight to the point and I'll not repeat what has been asked. First, I happen to be an architect and we have our scale of fees. Cap 525 prescribes the minimum payable to architects. To the best of your knowledge or recollection, is there a minimum payable to stockbrokers by law so that we can deal with this matter conclusively? Number two, on the split of Safaricom, this discussion was mentioned by CS for National Treasury, and he argued that if you split it into three entities, then you lose the leverage. You increase costs by having distinct entities. But I also know from my own research and experience world over, where we've had a split of giant telcos, the residue entities have not done very well. And I'll give you an example. We had General Electric splitting into, I think, aviation, medical, and energy. The aviation sector never picked up. We had Johnson & Johnson splitting into pharma and medical. We have had HP splitting. We've had, I think, Toshiba and other companies in the world. So, given that Safaricom is dominant, don't you think that splitting it into distinct entities then will create avenues for other competitors to cannibalize the small entities? Secondly, how efficient will splitting be given that they all rely on the same infrastructure, network infrastructure? And then how will we have to deal with that then, given that we will have shareholding in the three entities? Will the shareholding be evenly spread out, or will we opt to hold one entity and release the others as the government? I think that needs to come out clear. It's it. The third question, and I think you brought a very important dimension here on cross-listing. What has been the hindrance that all along a very successful company that, like Safaricom, has not cross-listed in other countries? And you gave London as an example. And what route would we take as Parliament to ensure that this cross-listing is achievable without any legal hiccups? My last question, what is your experience and what is your comment on double layering, where we have Vodacom owning Vodafone and then Vodafone owning part of Safaricom? Don't you think it would have been easier if we eliminated this layering, multiple layering? Because someone came here and insinuated that this layering could be suspect. Thank you, Chairman.
Members, let us allow the Honorable Ndindi to, there were so many questions from the members to respond, then we'll do another second round. So yeah, but let him respond and then we'll give the remaining members the other option. So go ahead, Mheshimiwa Ndindi.
Thank you very much, Chair. With your with your permission, I have all the time when your time permits, but I'll be brief so that we also give other members an opportunity to also interact on this matter. Honorable Ariko, you asked many questions, but I'll be brief in response so that I know you have afternoon sessions. You talked about when I was in budget chair and what I did for Safaricom share price. And I don't even know what to answer you. Because what does a budget chairman in Kenya has to do with the market prices of shares? There's nothing I do. I'm a market taker, just like any other Kenyan. And on that matter, respectively, Honorable Ariko, you are my brother. This issue came up when I was there, and I gave my voice. And my voice is as I have given the committee, because there's nothing to hide. The beauty about this conversation is that even the people who have appeared before you here, the technocrats from the National Treasury, they know the things I'm saying here are the correct ones. That was what they were also saying themselves. But because of the urgency of wanting to sell this share now and not tomorrow, that is my answer, what I think has changed. Then you asked about the valuation of, in terms of KCB being the transaction advisor. And I agree with you about there is the base price and there is the upper limit. In fact, you can change nothing. You know, in a business transaction, if Honorable Maduku is an architect and he wants to do his work for me for free, that is his business to do that. My business as a Kenyan is to look at where we are approaching the